It was the 5th year of my secret marriage to Marcus. 4. I gave up my right to inherit the company, willingly becoming his supportive partner. For Vance family's company, I worked tirelessly at business dinners, even drinking heavily until I was sick. I even suffered a miscarriage due to overwork. While I was still thrilled that Marcus would be returning home for Valentine's Day to spend the holiday with me, he informed me that company arrangements had delayed his return by a week. But on Valentine's Day, I was invited to a banquet. It was there, at the banquet, that I overheard something. "Thank you all for coming to my birthday and our engagement party." The surrounding chatter seemed to hit a pause button in my ears. I only saw the man being led by Audrey, the heiress of Hayes, on stage. It was none other than Marcus, my husband, whom I had waited 3 years to be reunited with. My hand, holding a wine glass, trembled slightly. I stared intensely at the two people kissing on stage. They're such a perfect match. Talented and beautiful. I heard they've been together for 6 years and are finally getting married. The girl's comments next to me reached my ears, every single word. I lost my composure, not even noticing the wine spilling all over me from the glass in my hand. "Oh dear, Grace. How could you be so clumsy?" A girl took out tissues to help me wipe the wine stain from my clothes. I stopped her hand. "Thanks, I'll just handle it in the restroom." As I stood up and walked away, I heard endless whispers behind me. Why is she reacting so strongly, looking so upset? As if someone stole her husband. You wouldn't know this, but she's the vice of the family's company. I heard she joined the family's company because of Marcus. She probably went there just for him. And now it all amounted to nothing. Cold water splashed onto my face. My furious mind instantly calmed down. I couldn't understand how Marcus, who should have been in Europe, was suddenly here. And engaged to Audrey? Where did that leave me? I returned to a corner of the banquet hall, looking at the beautifully decorated venue, and felt nothing but irony. Not far away, Audrey, holding Marcus's hand, was moving through the crowd, making toasts. I pulled out my phone, found his familiar number, and dialed. The man in the crowd took out his phone and hung up without hesitation. Undeterred, I dialed again. But the result was the same. This happened several times. Perhaps annoyed beyond endurance, Marcus left the crowd and found a secluded spot to answer the phone call. "Hello? What's going on? Why do you keep calling me?" Marcus's tone held annoyance. I composed myself. "Nothing major. Didn't you say you were coming back this month? When are you arriving? I'll pick you up." Got it. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. I'm in a meeting. Before I could react, the phone call was disconnected. Ding. My phone received Marcus's itinerary for his return from Europe a week later. When reappeared in the banquet hall, he was holding Audrey's hand, smiling brightly. I clutched my phone. Even unwillingly, I had to accept that the man was my husband. "Please look into Marcus and Audrey," I told Sarah on the other end of the phone call. "I suspect they haven't broken up these past few years." "Alright, wait for my news." After hanging up the phone, I gazed at the wedding photo nearby, lost in thought. Originally, Marcus, Audrey, and I were college classmates. They had a passionate relationship, but then abruptly broke up during their senior year. Marcus was genuinely heartbroken for a long time. As graduation approached, Marcus confessed his feelings to me. After a moment of hesitation, I agreed. After all, I had been smitten with Marcus since the first time I saw him, but at that time, Audrey was already by his side. Now that I had a legitimate chance to be by his side, I naturally wouldn't hesitate. For him, I gave up inheriting my family's company after graduating on and chose to work at Vance. Marcus said that workplace romance could negatively impact the work environment, so I never announced that I had a boyfriend. 6 months later, Marcus proposed to me with a ring, and I happily accepted. I thought I had found happiness, but it was only after we registered our marriage that Marcus apologetically told me that his family didn't approve of us, but he firmly chose me. He asked me to give him some time, promising he would make me Mrs. Vance legitimately. So, Marcus and I transitioned from a secret relationship to a secret marriage. After years of navigating the cutthroat business world, I was no longer the naive young girl who prioritized love. And now, Marcus was engaged to Audrey, despite being married to me. What was he really planning? Since there were no clues from Marcus, Audrey surely had the answers I sought. Inside the cafe, Audrey arrived late. "Sorry, I'm late," Audrey said, casually brushing her hair back. The massive diamond ring on her finger drew all eyes. Classmates at the table gasped. "Wow, Audrey. Are you married? Such a huge diamond ring, your husband must be quite something." Audrey covered her mouth and laughed. "Just engaged. Everyone knows my husband. Could it be?" That's right. It's Marcus. Audrey finished, shyly lowering her head. Please remember to come to the wedding when the time comes. Wow. So you two have been together for years and are finally tying the knot. Looks like we need to start preparing our wedding gifts. It was then that she noticed me in the corner. Grace, you'll have to bring your husband too, when the time comes. Let us meet this mysterious handsome man. We've only seen photos of you holding hands all these years. Everyone is dying of curiosity. I hadn't even put down my coffee. Audrey's tone suddenly shifted. Or is it that your relationship can't stand the light of day? Suddenly, everyone's eyes turned to my face. I gently placed my coffee cup down. Don't worry, you. I'll definitely see him then. I just hope you won't be too shocked. It seemed Audrey wasn't as oblivious as she appeared. Though she hid it well, the triumphant glint in her eyes was impossible to conceal. Late that night, I returned to the family estate. It was now clear that Audrey knew something about my secret marriage, but I wasn't sure of the extent of her knowledge. I walked towards my room, puzzled. Mother's plan was a good one, wasn't it? I told you to marry Grace to help secure the family's business. Who would have thought she'd be so capable? She's managed the company quite well. Margaret's proud voice reached my ears. Otherwise, how could your father have let you go to Europe? Without her, our family's company might have fallen into the hands of that outsider. Now that you're back, what do you plan to do about Grace? I don't object to you and Audrey, but Grace has a significant say in the company now. Whatever happens between you two is fine, but the company certainly can't fall into her hands. Don't worry, Mother. I'll give Audrey a proper wedding. As for Grace, I have other plans, a familiar male voice replied. I clamped my hand over my mouth, terrified of making a sound out of shock. Why so secretive with your mother? Let me tell you, Grace isn't the naive in love girl she was 3 years ago. She's handled Robert and Thomas at the company so well. If you truly provoke her, she might choose a destructive showdown, Margaret said with some concern. Don't worry, I considered all of this back then. The marriage certificate I got with her is completely fake. I'll just find an excuse to break up with her later. As for the company, I only let her be vice because I wasn't here. Now that I'm back, everyone will ultimately have to listen to me, Marcus sneered softly. Alright, as long as you have a plan. Just give her some money and part amicably when the time comes. Our family is respectable, there's no need to make a scene. I froze there, my mind blank. It took several repetitions for me to finally open my mouth in disbelief, even forgetting to breathe. Before I could react, I heard the conversation inside conclude. I quickly left, afraid that if I listened any longer, I wouldn't be able to control my emotions and would walk in and slap Marcus. I returned to my luxurious penthouse in the city. I opened the drawer and took out the marriage certificate I had carefully preserved. The two people in the photo smiled brightly, an official seal stamped over it. What I had cherished as a treasure, I now learned from his own mouth was all fake. I took out my phone and opened the chat screen with Marcus. The messages were still paused on his caring words from a few days ago, but since Valentine's Day, there had been no new messages. I scrolled through our past chat history, laughing until I cried. A person who would check in on me, never forgetting to surprise me on holidays. A man who held me, crying uncontrollably, when I miscarried our child due to overwork from the company. For his company, I worked hard, tirelessly attending business dinners, even drinking heavily at business dinners with clients until I was sick to secure orders. I could never forget him holding me tightly, urging me tenderly not to push myself so hard, saying it was fine even if an order didn't go through, that he didn't want me to harm myself like that. After that incident, he never let me go to business dinners again. Even if it was unavoidable, he would have his assistant accompany me and shield me from drinking as much as possible. But now, he was telling me that everything was a conspiracy, a scheme orchestrated by Marcus to make me willingly work myself to death for his company. My phone in my bag rang incessantly. I wiped away my tears, composed myself, and tried to make my voice as calm as possible. Grace, prepare yourself, the information I found might be hard to accept. Sarah's worried voice came through the phone. I took a deep breath. Tell me. I probably already know some of it, I'm just waiting for confirmation. Marcus and Audrey never broke up. From the time Audrey went to Europe, they didn't end things. His chat history shows they've always been in contact as boyfriend and girlfriend. He even lied to you 3 years ago when he said he was going to Europe to develop new markets. The truth is, Audrey was getting serious with a foreigner, and Marcus specifically chased after her because of it. For 3 years, he was with Audrey while she was studying. Also, they already registered their marriage in Europe before coming back. They also applied for a change of status domestically. That's how I traced the clues. Sarah's voice paused. You two never actually registered your marriage in China. I stared blankly at my phone, unable to speak for a long time. Sarah sighed. Whatever you decide to do, I'll support you. Okay, if I need help, I'll let you know. Without waiting for Sarah to reply, I hung up the phone. I found Marcus's number and dialed, but ultimately hung up the phone the moment it started ringing. My anger had nowhere to go. I wanted to ask him why. Why did he play with my feelings like this? Even if it was for the company, he shouldn't have sacrificed me. I spent a sleepless night. The next morning, a pair of large hands gently brushed my face. I was startled awake. Marcus suddenly appeared before me. He playfully tapped my nose, as he always did. His voice was full of affection. Time to get up for breakfast. I looked at him with confusion. He seemed to understand my bewilderment. Marcus tried to embrace me. I came back early to surprise you. I recoiled, avoiding his embrace. Do you remember what I said when you proposed? Marcus paused, his brow furrowing almost imperceptibly. I wondered if he was worried I had noticed something. His expression quickly returned to normal. Of course I remember. But don't worry, I'll never give you that chance in this lifetime. I looked directly at him. I hope so. When I sat down at the dining table, Marcus was diligently serving me. Before I could speak, he took out an agreement from his bag and placed it in front of me. I picked up the divorce agreement from the table. What is this supposed to mean? Marcus walked behind me and pulled me into his embrace. Audrey, you know her, right? I ran into her in Europe. She happens to be a student of the patent holder for the company's next project. Plus, she's in a relationship with a foreigner and is pregnant. She made a deal with me, she'd convince her mentor to grant us authorization, and I would fake a marriage with her. This way, she can handle her family, and the company can get exclusive authorization at a low price. But it means you'll have to be wronged for a little while. I stood up and looked directly at him. How long? 3 months? Or half a year? Seeing that I didn't seem to have strong objections, Marcus's heart filled with delight. Probably about half a year. Don't worry, once the authorization comes through, I'll remarry you. I pretended to casually flip through the divorce agreement. It was very casually written, which made sense, considering even our marriage certificate was fake. There was no need for this divorce agreement to be taken so seriously. I tossed the divorce agreement onto the table. I can agree to a fake divorce, but this house has to stay mine. I turned and hugged him back. There are too many memories of us in this house. I don't want anyone else living here. Marcus looked pleased. Okay, I'll have my assistant handle it. When the bright red property deed was in my hand, I smoothly signed my name on the divorce agreement. Now, all that was left was to sort out the company matters, and then it would be over. That day, I was working in the office. A latte was placed on my desk. I looked up at the person. Audrey gave me a bright smile. What a coincidence, Grace. I can't believe you work at my fiancé's company. Indeed. What a fate. Audrey leaned closer to me and said casually, it's great that you work here. You can keep an eye on Marcus for me. While I trust his feelings for me, there are just too many young women looking for shortcuts these days. Without lifting my head, I replied in a flat tone, you'll have to ask someone else for that. I can't do it. Perhaps seeing my indifferent tone, Audrey didn't press the issue. After that, Audrey started appearing at the office frequently. Her presence soon brought my relationship with them into discussion. They became the company's model couple, and I became the one witnessing their love. Ignoring the office gossip, I focused solely on the current project. Once this project was done, I could leave openly. That day, I went to work as usual. As soon as I entered the office, my colleagues looked at me strangely. After I passed, they whispered amongst themselves. I closed my office door, cutting off all sound. Grace, this is bad. Chloe from the marketing department rushed in, flustered. What's wrong? Why so flustered? Chloe pulled out her phone and showed me the trending topic online. The trending topic blatantly claimed I was a homewrecker, interfering in someone else's relationship, and sleeping my way to the top. The information of the person I supposedly interfered with was revealed in full, and even my work address was dug up completely. Instantly, there was an outpouring of condemnation against me online. And in the company group chat, there was an insider's leak claiming I was interfering in someone else's relationship. That I had shamelessly offered myself and been rejected. Despite my repeated explanations, no one believed me. I rushed to Marcus's office, demanding he publicly clarify the situation, but remained stubbornly silent. I haven't done any of these things. It's obvious who leaked this. You should make her explain it to the public herself. Marcus sighed, rubbing his forehead. Grace, you know the company's authorization hasn't come through yet. So, you're refusing, then? Now isn't the right time for this. Just then, Audrey walked in with the company directors. Without a word, she stepped forward and slapped me, then preemptively declared, Grace, I can't believe how shameless you are, seducing my fiancé. You already have a husband, yet you're still eager to be the other woman. At her words, the surrounding crowd erupted in an uproar. Whispers and murmurs spread. I never expected Grace to be like that. You really can't tell by looking at her. What else did you think? Getting such a high position at a young age, she must have slept her way up. But it seems no one has ever seen her husband. Could it be some kind of secret relationship? I snapped back to reality and stepped forward, ready to retaliate. Marcus saw this and grabbed my hand. His tone held a hint of anger. Stop causing trouble and go back to work. But his warning had no effect. Audrey was relentless. Work? What work? Such a morally corrupt person isn't fit to be in our company at all. She's simply ruining the company's brand image. Robert and Thomas, standing nearby, chimed in. That's right, Marcus. Grace's actions have caused too much damage. We suggest suspending her for investigation. And with the calls for boycotting her now trending online, if we don't handle this, the company's business will be affected. Marcus looked troubled. In that case, you should suspend your work for now. We'll discuss it again once things calm down. The project you're working on, hand it over to Arthur for now. Arthur, standing by, looked overjoyed at being given the project. Yes, Marcus. You should also look into adjusting the project staff. We absolutely cannot let this affect the company. I let out a cold snort. So this was your real goal. We've almost completed the entire project. All that's left is signing the contract, and you're just going to let someone else take over? Audrey walked up to M.E. triumphantly. Replace everyone on the project. Who could possibly be any good if they were working with her? We don't want any more scandals affecting the company. Arthur quickly responded, understood, Audrey. Department 2 will take over the entire project. I looked pointedly at Marcus. Are you just going to stand there and watch her make a scene? I planned and executed this project meticulously for 6 months. It's bad enough you're letting your family take credit for my work, but you're even replacing my team members? Marcus said nothing, merely instructing Arthur to complete the handover quickly and not to delay work. I snorted, removed my ID badge, and submitted my resignation on my phone. Since you can't tolerate me, please approve my resignation. Marcus looked helpless, holding his phone. Grace, don't be ridiculous. Audrey snatched his phone and quickly approved it. Get out. Don't affect the company's stock price. I threw my ID badge onto the table and left without looking back. I hadn't expected Marcus to go so far, openly slandering my reputation and even risking the company's stock price without bothering to hide his intentions. I just felt bad for my team members. I had planned to finish this project, ensure they all received their bonuses, and then make my graceful exit. I returned to my workstation to pack my things. At that moment, all my colleagues from the project department gathered around. Grace, we believe in you. We'll stick with you. Exactly, there are plenty of other places to make money. No need to stay here. Just thinking about working under Arthur later, with that smug face of his, I'd rather follow Grace. I looked at my colleagues before me, touched. Okay, since you all trust me, rest assured, I will definitely lead everyone to do well. I took one last look at the magnificent building. I pulled out my phone and skillfully dialed a number. Hello, Ethan. I've finished here. I can start within a week. Excellent. Hayes welcomes you, a steady male voice replied from the other end of the phone call. By the way, have you heard about what's been happening online recently? I kindly reminded him. I trust my own judgment more, Ethan said with certainty. Losing a key talent like you is Vance's loss. I smiled slightly. Thank you for your trust, Ethan. Ethan was the CEO of Hayes. After hearing Marcus's words, I had made plans for myself. Hayes had always been an industry leader, and they had approached me multiple times before, offering a high salary to poach me for Hayes. But for Marcus, I had always refused. After becoming engaged, I proactively contacted them and successfully secured a position. I carried a bag of personal items and walked towards my car. To my dismay, my car's tire was flat, and the hood was spray-painted with homewrecker. The rest of the car was also a terrible sight, covered in colorful spray paint. Left with no choice, I called a tow truck. Just as the car was being towed away, a discreet Bentley pulled up in front of me. Ethan's strikingly handsome face appeared before me. Get in, Grace. I raised an eyebrow. Ethan? I didn't expect you to have so much free time. To run into you here of all places. Employee care must start with me, especially since Grace is a talent I specifically poached. Just then, Marcus's Porsche slowly drove up and stopped in front of me. Grace, get in the car. I'll take you home. What, Marcus, have you settled things with your fiancé? A mocking smile touched my lips. Grace, you know why. Seeing that I ignored him, Marcus got out of his car, grabbed my arm, and tried to push me inside. I struggled fiercely, but there was a significant disparity in strength between us. Just as I was about to be shoved into the car, Ethan grabbed my other arm. Marcus faced off against Ethan. Ethan, our marital affairs are none of your concern. Oh? As far as I know, Marcus, didn't you just get engaged to Audrey, the heiress of the Hayes fam? Eileen? Where did this married couple suddenly come from? I used the opportunity to shake off Marcus's hand. Marcus, could you please stop slandering my reputation everywhere? We were merely colleagues. Besides, you've already approved my resignation. At most, we're just casual acquaintances now. Hearing this, Marcus's anger flared, and he moved to confront me further, but blocked him. Ethan, our business is none of yours, please don't interfere. I seized the chance to get into Ethan's car. The door closed, instantly cutting off whatever Marcus was about to say. Ethan spread his hands. Caring for employees is a boss's responsibility. See you next time, Marcus. The car slowly drove away. Marcus watched the car leave, his face contorted in anger. He mumbled, she's my woman, even if I don't want her, no one else gets to interfere. I gently placed my belongings at my feet. Ethan, thank you for rescuing me today. Ethan lightly tapped the steering wheel with one hand. Helping an employee solve a problem is just you getting to enjoy an early employee benefit. I hadn't expected Ethan to be so humorous. Well, it seems working under you, Ethan, will be quite easy then. Ethan raised an eyebrow. You're the only one who gets this kind of treatment. What? I hadn't quite heard him, but didn't explain again. I took out my phone and left all the workgroup chats. Just then, a message popped up on my phone. Ethan, are you interested in Vance? I happen to have quite a few shares. I wonder if you have any thoughts on them. Before could reply, I continued, never mind. I suspect Vance won't be peaceful later on, so you'd better not get involved in this messy situation. I'll introduce you to someone, he's probably more interested in Vance and will definitely give you a fair price. Then I'll thank you in advance for your help, Ethan. With connections, I quickly transferred my 8% shares. This certainly made my wallet quickly fill up. My former team from Vance also CA me with me, and we quickly started our new work. That day, Marcus's phone call came through. Grace, you actually sold your shares to someone else. Do you know how big a mistake you've made? Marcus, I believe how I handle my assets is my own freedom, isn't it? Marcus quickly calmed down. Grace, even if you wanted to transfer your shares, you could have discussed it with me beforehand. What kind of behavior is it to sell them without a word? What's more, you actually sold them to Daniel. Aren't you just fueling their arrogance? Daniel was Marcus's half-brother, and he had always coveted Vance. He had tried to undermine me more than once when I was in charge. I had originally thought the share transfer could be kept secret for a while, but I didn't expect Marcus to find out so quickly. There's still one way. Call, who was in charge of the previous project, and have him sign the contract with us. You know, if that contract isn't signed, the next project can't start. Then we won't get the authorization. And we won't be able to remarry. Even now, Marcus was still using remarriage to threaten me. I shifted in my office chair. Marcus, in your eyes, am I just a brainless woman, naive in love? Yes, I was indeed foolish for a few years. But that doesn't mean I'll remain brainless forever. What are you talking about? Didn't I do all of this for you? To remarry you sooner? Marcus's tone was self-righteous. Remarry? I recall the name on your marriage certificate being Audrey, wasn't it? That was just a temporary measure, you didn't object back then. I forwarded everything Sarah had found to him. Marcus was speechless, his mouth agape, not knowing what to say. All right, stop bothering me. Don't force me to retaliate against you. I was about to hang up the phone. Marcus spoke again, his voice hoarse. Grace, I know Robert is a friend of your father's. Just say hello to him. I really need this project. Daniel's shares are now equal to mine, and if I lose this project, I might have to hand over the CEO position. So what? It has nothing to do with me. Without waiting for Marcus to reply, I hung up the phone. He had played with my feelings for so many years. Not seeking revenge against them was already my greatest act of mercy. Arm in arm with Ethan, I thrived at the gala. It seemed that with a powerful connection, even the industry bosses were cordial and friendly towards me. Before, when I was expanding Vance's reach, I often had to humble myself. As I slipped my 10th business card into my clutch, I smiled like a mischievous cat. Ethan, watching me casually from the side, asked, "Are you that happy?" Of course. These are all my future connections. It's true, benefiting from powerful connections really makes things easier. I subtly flattered Ethan. It seemed Ethan quite enjoyed the flattery, his face bloomed with a smile. Just then, Audrey, arm in arm with Marcus, approached me. "Ethan, you should keep your distance from certain people. Some are habitual cheaters, always cozying up to whoever benefits them." My good mood vanished completely with her appearance. "You don't need to speak just to prove you're not mute. I'm just being kind and giving a friendly reminder." Ethan soothed me. "I'm single, and she's single. If she truly has feelings for me, I'd be delighted." Marcus glared at me, his face full of fury. "So, you hooked up with him before you dumped me? Marcus, are you out of your mind? Who was dating Audrey while pretending to be single and tricking me into marriage? I devoted myself to you, and not only did you forge documents to deceive me, but you also wanted to drain me by making me manage your company. You have some nerve." Seeing me attack Marcus, Audrey became relentless. "It was an honor that we used you. Otherwise, wouldn't you still be working for 3,000 yuan after graduation? You should be grateful we gave you this platform. How else could someone so young have such a salary? Without me, you wouldn't be who you are today. Regardless of my initial intentions, you should be grateful to me. Without me, there would be no you today." Marcus said these words without batting an eye. His shamelessness truly made me laugh in anger. "Do you want this blessing?" I rolled my eyes at them. "You two truly are a match made in heaven. My blessings to you both, may you be stuck with each other forever." I quickly stepped forward and slapped each of them. Before they could react, I grabbed Ethan and quickly left the scene. But, having been slapped, wouldn't let me off easily. Before she could advance, she was held back by a nearby security guard. Ethan instructed the security guard, "Please escort these two out. They are being too disruptive." "Understood, Ethan." The security guards began to lead them out. "Let go of me." Audrey struggled. "Ethan, what good do you think comes from defending this woman? She's just a woman my fiancé used and discarded. If she can treat Marcus like this today, she'll do the same to you tomorrow. Grace, I'm so disappointed in you." As was being escorted out, I heard only his resentful voice. I knew that if I didn't do something, Audrey wouldn't let me off easily. So I posted what I had uncovered online. Soon, a flood of scandals about Audrey began circulating online. It revealed how she and Marcus had initially schemed against me. Then, when they no longer needed me, they would find an excuse to smear my name. It was a classic case of discarding someone after using them. Audrey's promiscuity, drug use, and inappropriate remarks in Europe were also dug up. Suddenly, a torrent of condemnation flooded towards Audrey. It was far worse than the rumors and slanders against me. Netizens staked out her home, not only spray painting it and throwing dead rats, but some extremists even physically assaulted her. In a moment of impulse, one of them accidentally stabbed her. As for Marcus, netizens simultaneously called him a total jerk, blasted him for timing, and declared he deserved to be a cuckold. The company blamed him for his personal image dragging down the brand's reputation, coupled with the project he had been unable to secure for so long. He was criticized by the company directors. Meanwhile, Daniel, through my introduction, successfully turned things around with the project. He successfully pushed Marcus out and became the person in charge of the company. Without his position at the company, Marcus became an unemployed person. It was then that he remembered my virtues. He came to my doorstep with flowers, begging to reconcile. "Grace, I know I was wrong. Only after leaving you did I realize that you are the one I truly love. Only with you and me together can we form a powerful alliance." Marcus knelt on one knee, pulling a diamond ring from his pocket. "Let's start over. I'll be truly devoted to you." Unmoved, I showed him the ring on my finger. "Too bad, you're too late. I already have someone else." At that moment, Ethan put his arm around my shoulders from behind. "Marcus, please stop harassing my fiancé." Marcus wanted to say more, but the security guards from the gated community had already arrived. I pointed at Marcus beside me and said, "Please don't let unauthorized personnel in again next time." Marcus still tried to speak, but he was already being dragged out by the security guards. Ethan leaned in and kissed my cheek. "My dear Mrs. Ethan," he murmured, "I look forward to our future together.